Hi, I'm RunnerEye, and you could stop at 5 or 6 YouTube channels, or just one. Hey class, it's me, Mr. RunnerEye, and today I'm going to be filling in for Mrs. Goth. She's gone missing, apparently. She's left her kids and husband behind, but rumor has it she has been taken by aliens, so hopefully they're treating her pretty well up in the stratosphere. Anyway, today I'm going to be taking you for a little dinner by the way that I'm dressed. Hello? Just kidding. I'm going to be taking you for Drag Race Inside Jokes 101, the class where I explain the most common Drag Race inside jokes that you're going to see around the internet, and I'm going to give in-depth explanations of what they're referencing, why they're funny, so hopefully you'll be able to enter Drag Race spaces and be able to understand everything that is being referenced, because there's a lot of references that this fandom likes to make. Now, before we get into it, I've been instructed by the principal to show you a little video sent to us by one of the school's sponsors. So I'm going to show you that real quick. Let's drag out the big chunky TV. Take a look.
Hey you! Yeah you, the guy with the bags under his eyes. Do you need a better night's sleep? Well then do I got the sleep mask for you. Manta sleep masks are highly comfortable premium sleep masks with adjustable eye cups that exert no pressure to your precious little eyes, ensuring you the most serene, beautiful, restful sleep experience of your entire life. The masks are so adjustable to every single face shape, like you can literally just take off the eye cups and put them on in a place that's more comfortable on your face. Is your talent Velcro? Yes it is, look at this. And the masks are made out of soft, breathable materials, which means that they're both comfortable and they sit very lightly on your face, so it's like you basically don't even have one on, but you also can't see anything, so it's like perfect for like sleeping anywhere that's like bright, like the sun. If you're sleeping on the sun, like that might be a really good place to use the Manta sleep mask. And now I'm showing you the Pro mask here, but there is more masks that you can get to fit your sleeping needs. Let's go through them. We have the Pro mask, we have the weighted mask, we have the silk mask, the cool mask, and I've said it before, it still has not changed. This is my favorite mask of all of them. It is the Manta Sound Sleep Mask. It has Bluetooth headphones built into it, which is perfect for me because I need background noise in order to fall asleep. It's a little bit worrying. So if you're looking for a sleep mask that will help you sleep better, Manta Sleep is where it's at. They literally have sleep in their name, like they know what they're doing, guys. So follow the link at the top of the description and use my code RunnerEye to get 10% off. Now this is the end of the videotape. Get back to class.
So first up on the board, we have the phrase, "Mama, kudos for saying that, for spilling."
Mama, kudos for saying that, for spilling.
Now, this is one of the more recent inside jokes that the Drag Race fandom has come up with. The phrase was initially uttered by Plain Jane on season 16. So on season 16, they were doing one of the mirror moments where Q actually opens up about her HIV positive status on the show.
I have also been HIV positive for like 2 years now.
And then after Q has opened up about all this serious stuff in her life, Plain Jane decides to respond with this very empathetic and nice, warm answer.
Mama, kudos for saying that, for spilling.
And I think that the disconnect between someone opening up and being very vulnerable and, you know, sharing their story, a very kind of like, you know, HIV is a very stigmatized thing. So for her to open up about it on the show is very brave as it is. So to have that met by Plain's like, very sincere, like could not give a fuck answer. And what makes this even maybe a little bit better as a joke is that Plain Jane has come out since saying that this was genuinely a sincere reaction from her.
I'm glad that people were able to universally, you could say, relate to this very, very deadpan, one of my signature deadpan, socially sort of inappropriate, you could say, responses. Ultimately, people understand that I was trying and attempting to be very genuine and demonstrate compassion in that moment.
So now that I'm telling you that she was very emotional saying this, like maybe like you'll be able to watch it again and be like, wow, look at the amount of emotion pouring from her. I listen, I'm dragging her across the coals for like not showing a lot of emotion on her face. The call is coming from inside the house. I am aware that I am also like this. So maybe me and Plain Jane are one and the same. We actually don't look extremely different if you think about it. You know, she's representing for the people who are maybe a little bit socially awkward in the audience. Like shout out to people with social anxiety.
A shout out to everybody with social anxiety. I kind of feel sorry for you. Oh, yeah.
And, you know, like representation matters. Representation for socially anxious people, socially awkward people matters. And we're seeing it right here. So next up on the board, we have the inside joke that Serena Chacha was the first ever drag queen to read a book. Now, Serena Chacha is kind of a meme queen in the Drag Race fandom. And for anyone who doesn't know, a meme queen is like a queen whose very presence is like the punchline of the joke. They don't need to be doing anything. They don't need to be saying anything. Just them existing is enough to get a laugh out of people. And in theory, like, that sounds really bad. Like, you know, it sounds like bullying. It sounds like you're laughing at someone because they exist, which is like not great. But these jokes are actually seen as like huge compliments in the fandom. And generally, like, the meme queens of the franchise are some of the most universally beloved queens of the entire show. The jokes come from a place of like admiration and like love for the, you know, kooky character of the meme queen, rather than, you know, coming of a place of like tearing them down and making fun of them. It's like a communal celebration of how crazy the meme queen is. So examples of some meme queens would be Tammy Brown, Kelly Mantle, Jasmine Masters, and of course, Serena Chacha. Now for Serena Chacha, there's a running joke that she's the first ever drag queen to read a book. And this meme about her being the first person to ever read a book, or being the smartest queen on Drag Race, or being a drag scholar, is a reference to the Everybody versus Serena Chacha fight that happened on season 5. And in this fight, Serena Chacha like rips into half of the cast, calling them all uneducated, and she's able to justify all these attacks on the queen's intelligence because she reads books.
I read books.
Now this fight, in addition to her constantly bragging about being a drag scholar because she went to art school, made the fandom start a running joke that Serena Chacha is not only the first person to ever read a book, but she's also the only person to ever read a book.
I come from an art school environment, and I'm interested in fine art, drag. Just turned 21, just graduated art school. I do performance art.
Do you sew?
Yes, but there is a new art movement called soft sculpture. Now, it's still really abstract right now.
Serena said she went to art school. She might want her money back.
Let's sit down and have an educated and civilized argument at some point. I read books.
None of us read books? Is that what you're trying to say? None of us are educated because you went to school and you keep talking about you going to school? Miss Thing, we are all educated. When you start acting like this, oh, well, Miss Thing, I'm educated. Oh, Miss Thing, I'm only 21. The off. I've had it with you. Go the home.
It's kind of like the opposite of the Leah Michelle can't read meme. It's like, in this universe, Serena Chacha is the only one who can read. So next up on the board, we have the doors that Gia Gunn opened. So this is a tweet made by the Trisha Paytas of Drag Race, Gia Gunn. Now, I've talked about this tweet before on the channel, and I ended up actually blaming it all on Maddie Healy, of all people. And I actually did it with like valid mats. It was actually crazy. That's like one of the proudest moments I have on my channel, is being able to do that, because the mats actually checks out. It was kind of insane. So I've talked about it before in a very insane way, but I'm trying to give you the facts in this video. So we're going to be, you know, not blaming any crazy celebrities on this, unless you want to blame the crazy celebrity that is Gia Gunn. So on January 8th, just 2 days after Gia Gunn led the storm on the Capitol, she tweeted a tweet saying, "So happy to see a trans person on an actual season of Drag Race. The doors that I've opened." Now, this grandiose statement made by Gia Gunn made people think that she was trying to take all credit for trans representation on the show, despite the fact that there were trans people on the show before her. And this led to Gia Gunn and this tweet being widely mocked online. Specifically that last phrase, "the doors that I've opened." And this quote is often referenced in a tongue-in-cheek way whenever someone does something for the first time. It doesn't have to be Gia, it can be literally anyone. So for instance, there was a Reddit post talking about the worst Snatch Game performances of all time, and the highest rated comment on this post was talking about how funny it was that Gia Gunn was up here twice, and a highly liked response to that comment was, "the doors she opened." So she's like opened doors for being terrible at Snatch Game. So it's kind of used in that reference to kind of like make fun of people by saying that like they're the first person ever to allow other people to do it, and it may not be the most desirable thing. Does that make sense? I'm like not, I know that I'm a teacher here, guys, but I'm really bad at explaining stuff, so I'm really trying. I'm so sorry if that makes no sense, but we're just gonna keep going with it. Someone else can explain it in the comments. Someone can be the substitute to me being a substitute. You guys can substitute me in the comments and explain that better than I did. So next up, we have the Kelly Mantle has arrived memes. So Kelly Mantle is one of the meme queens that I mentioned earlier. And like I said about all meme queens are characterized by the fact that their existence is what? A punchline. They are a joke. Their entire existence is a joke. Thank you for paying attention. We laugh at them. We laugh at their existence. Their existence is enough to be funny. Their existence is funny. It does sound mean, but the Drag Race fandom would never do anything morally gray or ambiguous in their entire lives. They're very nice, great people. So her promo picture for season 6 became a meme on the internet, and basically a meme spawned from this photo where people would Photoshop Kelly Mantle arriving at different events across the world. So for instance, Kelly Mantle has arrived at the Met Gala. Kelly Mantle has arrived at the Grammys. Kelly Mantle has arrived at Balmoral after the Queen died. So yeah, if you see Kelly Mantle photoshopped into any world event or like, you know, any like red carpet or anything, it's basically just a reference to Kelly Mantle's, you know, existence being camp. So next up we have the reference that is Ben de la Christ. So this is a reference that I made in editing in the last video that I did of one of these. Teachers aren't allowed to be gay. That's like illegal. So I work in a Catholic school. Hey, do you see the fucking the little cross up there? They would crucify me. And because it was made in editing, I was never able to actually like explain it. So like that was probably really confusing for people who did not understand this meme, so I'm going to explain it here instead. So the term Ben de la Christ comes from the Handmaids to Kitty Girls episode of All Stars 3, where, spoiler alert, if you've been living under a rock for like 10 years, Ben de la Creme eliminates herself. Because she was winning so often and had to eliminate so many of the girls because she kept winning the lip syncs that she felt bad. Very relatable content. And after it's revealed that Ben de la Creme has eliminated herself, Aja gives this confessional.
Not Ben de la Christ, savior of Morgan and the drag queens.
So then after this, you know, Ben de la Creme started being like photoshopped into like biblical paintings and stuff of her being Christ as like a joke. So if you ever see people call Ben de la Creme Ben de la Christ, they're basically saying that she sacrificed herself to save the other queens who were left in the competition on that season. So next up on the board, we have the verb of being Janned. So the lore is deep and vast in the Janniverse. There is so much to explain about this, you know, one person who comes from the show. And this section is only going to scrape the very, you know, brink of the surface of it. So Jan was a contestant on Drag Race season 12 and All Stars 6. And her season 12 run on the show was, you know, characterized by the amount of safe placements that she got. You know, she never placed below safe, she never placed above safe for a very long stretch of the season. So, you know, because she had this reputation of being a safe queen, Jan's name was then turned into a verb to describe any queen who is consistently placing safe and has never landed in the top or the bottom. And the phrase also kind of carries undercurrents of kind of like unfairly being placed safe, like you should have actually been in the top for some episodes, but you didn't get to be in the top, so you're being Janned. So next up, we have the inside joke that Morgan McMichaels is dead. And this was a rumor started by the season 2 winner, King Tyra, formerly known as Tyra Sanchez. And the rumor started when she posted this post on Facebook, which said, "This is such sad news to hear," crying emoji. "I never thought I'd lose a sister. This hurts me to my heart. I'm gonna miss Morgan McMichaels, hashtag RIP. Please send her your condolences." And then she puts a link to her SoundCloud to an album that she was working on, and she also puts an image saying RIP Morgan McMichaels along with the years that she was, you know, supposed to be alive for. Now, if you don't know, you know, much about the Drag Race sphere and you don't know who Morgan McMichaels is, it's probably important for me to tell you that Morgan McMichaels is still alive.
No, I'm still alive. Sonique had called. Mayhem had called. Everyone had called. Because Tyra Sanchez, the winner of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 2, decided to post a post about me, wishing me a rest in peace.
She did not die. There was nothing that happened. This is all just a rumor started because of petty drama. Now, I'm not a drama channel, and I don't really care about that whole aspect of the show. I don't really generally like to focus on the, did you hear what, you know, fucking Roxy said at, you know, Flamingo or whatever the fuck one of the bars is called? No, I didn't. I don't care. I don't give a fuck what she said. But basically, Morgan had some problems working with Tyra because Tyra had been defending herself against the Raven stans who said that she didn't deserve to win.
Should we speed it up a little bit?
And Morgan decided that because, you know, Tyra was coming for Raven, that Morgan no longer wanted to do the show with Tyra on the same day. But then it turns out that it was like Morgan's birthday on that day and she had a birthday show. So then Mickey's, which was the bar I was going down at, decided to take Tyra and move her to another day despite the fact it was Morgan who had the problem with her. Petty shit. That is not important. because they both got paid at the end of the day, apparently. So, like, you know, who cares? You got paid. So after that, you know, Tyra was pissed that she got moved to another day, so she decided to start a rumor about Morgan saying that she had died. So that is where the rumor that Morgan McMichaels had died came from, and this was even referenced by Morgan McMichaels herself on the show in her All Stars 3 entrance line.
I look pretty good for a dead bitch.
She's alive!
So next up, we have the phrase, "fuck my drag, right?" So in Drag Race spaces, you'll often see the quote, "fuck my drag, right?" or "fuck my insert whatever here, right?" So this is a reference to a quote from Kennedy Davenport in the Bachelor episode of All Stars 3. Now that I think of it, we're actually talking about, you know, All Stars 3 so much this episode, which is kind of insane, or this class. What you mean episode? We're in a class right now. I can't break the fourth wall. So Kennedy said this quote after Milk had revealed that she would have sent home Kennedy instead of Thorgy because Thorgy's drag was more interesting to her. And because Kennedy was offended by Milk kind of like dismissing her drag, she said the phrase,
My drag, right? Because basically that's what you're saying.
And I think that people just loved the way that this line was delivered, and it's also very relatable, you know, to kind of be like, you know, you're dismissing my shit, what the fuck? So people started quoting it everywhere. And this quote is still, you know, very common today, which is crazy because like All Stars 3 was like 2016 or something. I was still like a baby. I was in secondary school. Like I was, you know, a child at that point, and now I'm like a 30-year-old adult, which is kind of crazy to think about. So next up, we have the phrase rigamoris. Now, this is one of the more popular ones from the show, and this is a reference to something that Alyssa Edwards said on All Stars 2, where she was joking that if the group had chosen her lipstick and sent her home, that it would be rigged, but she said it in a funny way because it's Alyssa, and she said rigamoris.
Y'all send me home, it was rigged.
Rigamoris, girl. It was rigamoris, girl.
Who's Morris? Rigor mortis.
Is it rigor mortis?
Now, why is this funny? It's funny because she was trying to reference, you know, the state that your body goes into after you die, which is rigor mortis, but she said it incorrectly and she ended up saying rigamoris. And then people like to quote it because it's a funny, you know, clip from the show. And Detox calls her out. And it's just an overall funny, you know, bit in the episode. And again, it's very relatable. You can use this in a lot of contexts. You're basically just saying that something is rigged, because that's ultimately what it means. Rigamoris is basically just another way of saying something is rigged. So anytime that you see people complaining about riggery on the show, they will normally say it was rigamoris. So next up, we had the inside joke of Kerry Colby being Tranos. Now, there was a running joke that Kerry Colby was the Thanos of season 14, more commonly referred to as Tranos. So first off, in order to understand this, you first have to understand who Thanos is, which I'm just gonna take a shot in the dark here and say you already know. I know that you know, because if you're here, if you ventured this far into the internet to find my videos, I'm sorry to break it to you, but you are chronically online. Like, you know who he is. You know who he is, but I'll get into it real quick. Thanos is basically a Marvel villain, and all that you need to know about him is that he's collecting, you know, Infinity Stones for a gauntlet that he has. He's collecting shit. That's all you need to know. So that brings us to Kerry Colby, who is the Thanos of season 14. What does that mean? Let's get into it right now. Now, season 14 started out with 2 trans people when it first started airing. There was Kerry Colby, and then there was also Cornbread. However, by the end of the season, there was a total of 5 trans people on the cast, with Jasmine coming out on the show, and then Bosco and Willow Pill coming out when the season was airing. And because Kerry Colby was a huge, like, supportive presence that helped Jasmine Masters... Oh, Jasmine Masters! She did not help Jasmine Masters come out. That is not true. And because Kerry Colby was a supportive presence for Jasmine Kennedy coming out on the show, a running joke started to form that Kerry Colby had like the Midas touch, you know, for making girls trans on the cast. Like, if you came into contact with Kerry Colby, you're trans now. It's like not a conversation, it's not a discussion, you are trans.
You will be gay, sorry. You have no choice here.
So this led to the joke that Kerry Colby was the Thanos of season 14 because she was collecting trans people like Thanos was collecting the Infinity Stones. And it became such a popular meme online that Kerry Colby actually dressed up as Thanos for the season 14 finale red carpet. So class is dismissed. Thank you so much for attending. Please like, subscribe, and comment. It really helps me out. You know, it helps me grow. I'm trying to get to 100,000. That would be really fun. Is that true? Yes, I am. Sorry, numbers are crazy. I would love to get to 100,000 by the end of the year. So if you could help me reach that goal, I would be greatly appreciative of you. And also, like, most people who watch me aren't even subscribed, which is crazy because you could just, you know, help me out. It's free and I would appreciate it. I have a Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. If you want to go check me out on any of those, please do. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next class that I have that I'll be filling in for someone who's gone missing. I wonder who's kidnapping them. Definitely not me. Okay, goodbye. And now it's time to give a shout out to the star pupils of the week. We have Mianel, Vincent Goshdang Wren, Vern Wisner, Craig Blythe, Brony RuPaul, Valerie with Love, Jabroni, Giovanni JPEG, The Flame Chaser, Cat Chat, Yuno, Michael, Planet Daniel, Jim Jamie James Bradshaw, Nico Montano, Ravi Kasari, Eve, Dip, Oliver Wyatt, Giovanni Vicari, Yoon Wyatt, Vico Pop, Matt F, and Tone. Thank you so much, every single one of you. You guys are amazing, beautiful people. It's like, it's scientifically validated. It's in like the science books, if you read the science book that your teacher told you to read. That other teacher, not me. I'm the Drag Race teacher? I don't know. The lore is getting a little bit out of hand at this point.